like to introduce our two actors who will be joining us today. Your name, please just tell us your name, pronoun, and the actors or roles that you play.
Yeah, I'm DeLon Grant, he, him, his. I played the Trackers Passenger 2, but I was the preacher. I was Damien. I was, what comes after that?
Mom.
Oh, baby, yeah, Tony Logan.
What
a fool. Tony Logan and the husband, Jonathan, the husband, and then the awesome guard that you all loved, of course.
Hi everyone, my name is Berrian. My pronouns are she, they. I play, the track is Passenger 1, but I play Trish, Kendra, Marie, and Lakeisha. Yes.
Yes. All right, so I have some questions to ask you all. So, Ain't No Mo is a very different kind of play than I think often we see in the theater. What has it been like to do a play like this compared to other plays that you've been in?
Do you want to take that one?
Oh, goodness.
No.
I can't.
Yeah.
The process was interesting because, of course, as we've all sort of understood, there is no continuity, or the continuity is different than it would be in a traditional play. And so, as actors, I'm going to say we, because I don't want to be alone in this. We have a sort of dropping in that one might do when they're trying to, I guess, embody a role. And so having to do it 4 to 5 to 6 different times in the span of like 90 minutes is a bit challenging. And so it takes a lot of specificity. It takes a lot of focus and a lot of tapping into things that you wouldn't normally have to tap into, because when a play is traditional, you know, you can just go straight through it and you can kind of have the context within the scenes that you're doing. And as for this, you have to create your own context, essentially, which is kind of easy in a way, because this play is, I would call, somewhat universal.
Yeah, the vignetting of it and like the kind of almost sketch SNL, if I could use that comparison kind of nature of it, to Drew's point, doesn't really allow you to like, or didn't allow me to go like inside of it. I had to start outside and go, well, what is the playwright trying to do with all of these different characters, right? And Dawn Simmons, the director, really did a good job of trying to get us to try to see the trajectory for all of the characters they're in. But it also, I would say, like when I'm in a play that like has a bunch of different characters, it's like it's hard. It's so hard, but it's also an actor's dream, because like we're like, look at me, look what else I can do. So it's kind of fun in that respect too.
Yes, I love that. And as we're talking about the vignettes, there's so many of them, and you all play so many different characters. What are some of your favorite characters and or scenes that you get to play in the show that maybe you haven't had an opportunity for?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I really like the Preacher's fun. The Preacher's really, really fun. I think I can. I love the idea that I get to sing it.
They said you were great.
Oh, thank you. I love the idea of like really capturing the room. You know, that's really because I think forgive the diatribe, but during the pandemic, I think one of the things that I missed was convening together like this. Like, you know, it's church, it's sporting events, sporting events, and like concerts and theater, right? Like that's how we all get to convene and have a singular focus, a singular experience. And I really missed that during the pandemic. Yeah, so I forgot my train of thought now because I went so far.
Favorite character scenes.
Thank you. Yeah, so having the Preacher I get to take the focus and have a singular focus with you all. The other thing I would say is like I really appreciate the transition between like Damien, we call that scene Circle of Life, and then Baby Mom.
Yes.
because I jump on, I'm like, ah! You all are like, what is happening? And like you don't know what to do. It's my favorite because it feels like it throws you off guard and like forces you to focus in a different way.
It's so great. It's my favorite too.
Definitely. I love being in the Revelations, which is the scene with the pastor, because there's something about being on those stairs and feeling like I'm back, because I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia, and my family's from like a very small town near like the Florida-ish Georgia line, and so like I every once in a while would be in church, in a very hot and humid church, and everyone's like rocking back and forth, and we're praising and we're losing, we're dancing now, and the experience of it was so captivating that I'm really excited to be able to stand in that, because in a way when I get to do that scene, it feels like I'm being joined by my ancestors, and it feels like they are in that room, and no matter how fun and ridiculous it is, like it still does feel like I'm being held by them. And then I have a lot of fun in Baby Mamas, and I was terrified of doing that scene when I first read the play. I was like, you want me to do that in front of who? And when? And so finding the freedom in that, because there's a lot of fear in policing, especially as a Black woman, that we have to do when we're out in the world. And so being able to drop that policing somewhat and say, I can be all of these things, and I'm still very deserving and worthy of respect, is beautiful. So yeah.
We have another actor joining us today.
My name is Brett Evan, Evie, for those who know me, and my pronouns are she, they.
Now, Evie, we're talking about some of our favorite characters and scenes that they perform. Now, you are very, different for all of the actors in the show. You get to really play one singular character in different moments. What is it like for you to play that role, and what are your favorite moments as you're moving through the show?
What is it like playing Peaches? Peaches is a lot of fun, and she's, here's the thing. Peaches is all of the Black matriarchs in my life. She is my mom, and my mom was here last night. And she got to see herself on stage and how I perceive her. And she is my Nana, and she is my aunts and my grandmother and all of those women. And getting to do that, to pay homage and to tell that love story, that's love letter to Blackness through Peaches is a gift. And I think my favorite moment on stage, for me or for other people? I'm assuming for me.
For you.
No, my favorite moment on stage is probably the second time Peaches walks in and people finally put two and two together that she's the woman who's been ignoring the audience this whole time. She walks through, she doesn't say anything to anybody, she's on the phone, she's ignoring all the people. And when I come back and the people realize, oh, we'll get to stay with Peaches, and then the moments towards the end where the only thing lifting me up is the weight and the feel of the audience's care for Peaches as tragedy falls on her. It's my favorite moment in retrospect, not during, but after. Yeah, it's a gift.
There's so much this play explores in such a quick amount of time. And I know when we first started rehearsals to now, so much has changed, as it should. But what's been something that surprised you that you didn't expect as we've gone through this process and opened the show?
Yes, surprise.
Yeah.
I'll talk for Peaches alone. All of those scenes I'm by myself, and so nothing was funny in the room. I'm like, I hope these jokes are funny. I hope
still
that.
Not funny.
Yes, no, still not funny. No, I'm by myself, like cracking these jokes, and I'm like, child, I hope this is landing. I hope this is anything. And then at the end, I'm like, I hope they like her enough after only getting to spend half a show with her to care that terrible things that this is going to happen. And I have such a limited time, and that is the thing that has surprised me the most, is how much the people care for Peaches at the end and don't want this to happen, and also the response of even our ushers and our house staff to the performances. That has been the best part and the most surprising, because you think after you see it so many times you're going to be over it, but no, and that's great.
I think so. I saw the show on Broadway 3 times. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was Evie and I have talked about how we saw it, and I was like, whoa, wait, I need to go see that again because I don't know what happened. Yeah. And then there was a whole campaign to save it, so I wanted to go back. And anyway, watching it, it was funny and all the things you experience, right? But also like now being in it, I'm like, this shit is tiring. It's exhausting. It like really requires a lot, you know. Now, one of the things I really didn't anticipate is like the vocal energy. It's like we are at like the writer puts, especially for you, but for a lot of us, there are monologues where it's all in caps and there's no punctuation.
And the language.
Did you know that how hard this was going to be, sir?
The language. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Honestly,
out after just cursing at y'all for 2 hours. The language is so tricky because the script sheet, it's deceptively casual and then it's poetic, and you have to kind of like find that balance in between the two, and like hope you land the plane, like hope you land it and that you got it right, and you're like, oh shit. It is one of the hardest. It's a hard ask on any actor, and so yeah. Exhausting.
We're talking about surprises, right?
Yeah, surprises.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I couldn't remember. It's okay.
I got
You know what? I think the thing that surprised me the most about being in process for this show was that when I first read the script, I was like, oh, I'm so certain this is going to be the easiest thing I've ever done. Yes. So this is so funny. Oh, it's hilarious. I can connect to it. I'm Black. Yes, this is easy. And then I got into it and I realized that there are barriers that a lot of us have up, again, in our daily lives, where it's like, we don't touch that, this area, this topic, this subject, this feeling, this emotion, any of this, because if I touch this nerve here, it's gonna hurt, and we're gonna hurt, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to navigate in my daily life having an exposed wound. And so while I thought it would be easy to bring all of those things up and to constantly bring them up, it was not. I had resistance to connecting to a lot of the parts of the script, because I was like, okay, what if I go there and I go home and I got to think about what I just said and did and felt and all those things. And so that was surprising to me, because I truly felt as though I was just going to like head first dive in, and I had to actually dip a toe in the water and see what was going on first. So, yeah.
The play talks so much about not just race, class, section. There's so many intersections that the play begs us as the audience, and I believe as the creative team and actors, to think about. What are you hoping our audience will take from this production, however many times you all are going to do it?
Go ahead.
So last week, was it last week? 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago now, Delon will know when I say it. 2 weeks ago now, my grandmother, who is, my family's from Altadena in California, and our family home was burned down. And so in the midst of us doing tech for this show, and Peaches talking about legacy and what's lost, we lost our family home. And that was really, really, it's excruciating. It's really hard. It's really painful. But also it was kind of, in a small way, a gift as I do this, because what I hope that people take away from it is like the importance of cherishing Black culture, Black legacy. Altadena, Pasadena in California is a Black Camelot. It was a Black Camelot. It was a place where people who had been in that neighborhood for 50, 60, 70 years, they raised their families, they raised their grandkids in those homes. And right now, we're fighting against people coming in and just trying to roll over and develop that land and erase the richness of the Black culture that exists there. And like that's a lot. And so what I hope for, and especially through Peaches, who violence is done to that femme body on stage, and protecting the women who are at the forefront of our movements, protecting the women who make our homes and who help us build and who help us survive. And if we don't, what do we lose when we don't protect our minorities, our disenfranchised, and the ones who are our least protected classes? And especially right now, this is the time to like grassroots effort, protect the people who are leading those marches and movements. And it's often Black femmes. It's almost always Black women, Black bodies at the front. And like, so that's what I hope we take away, is the incentive to care for each other a little more.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I hope that they would. Race is hard.
Yeah.
Race is a really hard conversation, and Boston is one of the most segregated places I've ever lived in my entire life. I know it's liberal as hell. I know progressive, yay! But it is one of the most segregated places I've ever experienced in my life. And I grew up in northern Minnesota. Ready? That's just white, so that's why I do that. But like the takeaway, I think, is like when you have a predominantly white audience coming to witness a very insular black conversation, that it's okay to not have a voice in that conversation. It's actually okay just to witness it and to bear witness and support it and say that I hold it up and I see you, and I hope that that's the takeaway for the lighter hues. And I've done several shows at this theater. One of my first shows here was in 2016. It was Scottsboro Boys. Yes, first time I met Pascal, we were together, and we had to talk back, and one of the things that was said was, why aren't there more black faces in the audience? And there, believe it or not, there are more black faces in this audience than around that one. But SpeakEasy and Front Porch have really, Front Porch, thank God, right, have really built an infrastructure and a culture and are bringing more color to the South End and to these theaters and stuff. And I said at that talk back, if you build it, they will come. But like, it also has to be built. Right, yeah. It also has to be built. So I also hope that the black folks that come feel feel seen, feel heard, feel like they have a voice here too.
I second all of those things. And the extension to that, I would say, is that sometimes the only choice is to stay and fight. I think that, especially now, in the climate that we're in, it's very easy to be agreeable. It's very easy to be a pacifist. It's very easy to put your head in the sand and wait and brace. But that's not what we need. It's not what's necessary. It's not what built. I think that the hard thing about this show is that, like, it's exciting, the idea of going somewhere else and everything is just totally better. And oh my, woo, we're done with that, y'all, because we just flew out and everything's new and beautiful and great. And over on the other side, there's something best. Like, that's the best. And I think what's harder to grapple with is that we're here. Right. And most of us aren't going anywhere. And so we have a choice to make. And for me, it's not a choice. There's only one option, which is to stay and fight. And so I hope that's what people take away from this.
Let's give a round of applause for our amazing